Hi everyone, thank you for your interest in this video. Today I wanted to talk about what makes an entire country, an entire nation successful. Why are countries like Singapore, Switzerland, Rwanda, but also China so progressing and so successful? And for this, it's to understand, or easier to understand when we first have a look at Singapore, Switzerland, and Rwanda. All those countries have one thing in common: they are very small. So to do successful governing in a small country is easier simply because no matter what you do, it is rather complicated to leave people behind. It is still possible, but it is much more complicated than with actions of that you don't reach people with your actions. It is also cheaper to provide a successful infrastructure simply because the country is small. And there's a lower probability that the circumstances for the people are varying strongly within one country. Switzerland is though somewhat a little bit of a contradiction to that, because Switzerland has many mountains, but it also has a very flat area. A very green and fertile area, but it's also mostly this area that is very much progressing, and the other areas are used for tourism. So while it is though different landscapes, it is though easier to use the little space it actually has. So those countries are small, but actually then why is China progressing? Because China is everything but small, and it has a lot of people, and simply because when we see what Singapore, Switzerland, Rwanda, and China have in common is that the three small countries do govern and provide a lot of things and infrastructure for all people simply because they're small. China takes huge efforts in providing infrastructure and roads and trains for its people all over the country. It has taken huge, unparalleled efforts so far, or maybe I don't know how in the US, maybe in the 50s or 60s, the efforts were maybe comparable, but it has taken huge efforts to provide infrastructure that is accessible to everyone. And there we come actually to the core of what I actually wanted to say. I think the absolutely unsurprising conclusion to how entire nations progress, not just rich people, rich elites in nations, but entire nations, is as soon as you provide services, infrastructure, technology to everyone and not just a rich elite. So this is of course not very surprising, but it needs to be said in times where in the West we are still fed with this idea of trickle-down economics. Make the best conditions for the most powerful, and everyone else will profit automatically. No, it's complete nonsense. One of the reasons why even the entire society, why societies worldwide progress, is because some things have indeed trickled down, but not because rich people decide, oh, we're gonna now trickle down things. No, simply because things were available to a large amount of people. And that means, like, for example, these are cell phones. And for example, like, internet is still somewhat of a privilege, but it becomes much more a basic thing that is available all over the world. Not there yet, but it is coming. And then services like, for example, like Google on Facebook. Of course, they're entire different topic. As I'm not saying they're as nice as they always claimed it to be, but the fact that people can talk with each other and exchange information all across the world, which is much more accessible than extremely expensive technology like the iPhone X. But really things that are free, accessible for everyone, that are benefiting everyone, these are the things that make a country, a society progress.